Hey guys, welcome back, and we are going to make today pesto roll. And this pesto is a super soft and pillowy bread, okay, that can be had with black coffee or black tea, or just like that. You can have it with your Sunday brunch, with a toast or with a layer of cool butter. Yes. Now, before that, I'll just take you through the ingredients we want for this recipe. And pesto, as the name itself indicates, it is this bread has this nice spread of pesto sauce. And the pesto sauce, the main ingredient is basil leaves. Yes, you heard it right. Basil leaves is very flavor, and when you mix it with the bread and make a bread, it gives a very mild, or you can say very subtle flavor of the basil leaves. Yes. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Yes, guys. So before we start, let me take you through the ingredients that we are going to use for the pesto rolls. Main thing is the bread. Okay, for the bread we need this all-purpose flour or maida 125 gram. Then we have some instant yeast. Okay, this is an instant dry yeast that we are going to put into the flour and we're going to mix it. And then we have a milk powder. Okay, desiccated milk powder we call it. And then we have a pinch of salt. And then we have the butter here. And then sugar. Okay, as it is a mild, the sugar enhances the taste of this one. We are going to add some sugar to this one. And talking about this dry ingredient, these are the ingredients that is going to go for our bread roll. Meanwhile, talking about the fillings. So, as I said, you have this wonderful basil leaves. This is fresh basil leaves and freshly from our garden. And then we have our chopped and soaked cashew nuts. Okay, and then few garlic pods, a pinch of salt, and then we are going to add fresh pepper. Okay, freshly crushed pepper and some grated cheese. And what you can see here, you can see some sesame seeds and poppy seeds, and these are going to go on the top of the bread just before baking. Okay, so these are the ingredients for the bread, and these are the ingredients for our filling. So we are going to start with the procedure. You can knead this dough using the hand, okay, or if you have a stand mixer like this, you can just pop it all the dry ingredients in this bowl, and then you can start kneading. So I'm just going to use a hook attachment. Okay, so I'm just first, here goes my dry ingredient. Okay, I'm just going to add the flour. Yes, this is all-purpose flour, and then going to add all this flour into it. And as I said, I'm going to use instant yeast, and this instant yeast doesn't need activation. So usually generally the method we use is that we have the other yeast that is called active yeast, which you have to put it in warm water and activate. But in this case of the instant yeast, that process is completely skipped. So I'm just going to pop this directly into your bowl. Okay, and then we have our milk powder. So the milk powder, as I said, gives a nice flavor, color and taste. And if you have not noticed, I am just going this completely eggless. Yeah, so you can make wonderful recipes without the egg. Yes, and if you are using, you can definitely use in the place of the milk or water, you can use the egg, but this recipe is completely eggless. Yeah, so here in this I have my flour, I have the yeast, and I have the milk powder, and I'm just going to add the water. Yeah, and I'm just going to start to knead it. Yes, so our flour is mixing now along with the ingredients like yeast and milk powder, and as I said, this also has some little bit of sugar. Okay, so I'm just going to pop it into it, and I'm going to add some liquid, that is your warm milk. If you have warm milk, you can add just plain water, no problem at all. So we are just going to start kneading this dough. Okay, so if you see, I've got a soft butter here and a pinch of salt. I'm not going to add this fat first now, because if I add the fat first to the dough, it will stop absorbing. Yes guys, you can see my flour is getting mixed with yeast and the warm water and the milk powder and the sugar. Okay, so it needs 5 to 10 minutes until the dough combines together. And as you can see, I have not added my butter. Okay, so I want to add the butter end. The reason being that if I add the fat in between or in the beginning, your flour will stop absorbing water. So I want to nicely hydrate my dough. That's why I'm just going to add the fat at the end. This is an important tip. Okay, guys, my dough is combining. Now I'm going to add this butter. Okay, this is a soft butter and a pinch of salt in this. And here goes my butter into the bowl. Table is shaking. Yes, so if you're using or your hand, you have to do a lot of kneading and kneading and kneading. How much kneading? Okay, there's a particular stage you have to stop the kneading. and that stage we call as a window pane stage. Yeah, what is window pane stage? Like you take some portion of the dough and you stretch, you see a thin film, like light coming from the window. So that's the stage we call as window pane stage or gluten stage. Okay, so you have to knead the dough till the window pane stage. It's an important tip, guys. So see to it that your dough is kneaded well. Only then your bread comes out nice. Guys, yes, I think our dough is done now. You can have a look at it here. So it's making a fluffy sound, means our dough is done. Yeah. So I'm just going to take it out now. And before starting, I'll just show you. You have a nice silky smooth dough. I'm just going to show you how to check for the window panes. Okay. So what is this window pane that you're talking? As I said, when you take a pinch of the dough and start stretching, you see a thin film. Okay. So if your dough is able to give this texture, means your kneading is done. Okay. This is an important tip. Yeah. So our dough is nicely done. I'm just going to take it. And then I'm just going to tuck it nicely. I'm going to place this in a nicely greased bowl. Yeah. And then we will be covering with a nice kitchen towel. And this goes for the first fermentation. Yeah. This is going for the first fermentation. Got it? Yes. So preferably you can keep it near your kitchen area, kitchen counter or warm place where the yeast will start feeding on the dough and start multiplying, and then you get a beautifully raised dough. Okay, so this we call as the first fermentation, and this dough is going. So it will take around half an hour to 1 hour depending upon the temperature of the room. Yes. Okay. So once this is fermenting, okay, as the first fermentation is happening, I'll just quickly show you how to make this pesto sauce. Okay. Now this pesto sauce is very nice. You can use it for anything. You can use it as a dip with nachos, or you can use it for any starters, or you can also use it for this pesto bread. Okay, so it has got, as I have already showed you earlier, the ingredients that we are going to use. It's a very simple technique. All the ingredients are very easily available in the kitchen. You have to just make a paste. So another important tip of this pesto sauce is we have used nuts. So you can use walnuts, you can use pine nuts, you can use cashew. All these things has to be nicely soaked. Okay, so we are just going to put it into the mixie and just going to pulse it nice. You can make a fine paste or you can make a coarse paste. Yeah, so I'll just show you how to make this pesto sauce, right? Yes, so we will be making our pesto sauce now. Okay, so here goes in your fresh and nicely washed, okay, fresh basil leaves, fine, and then you have our soaked cashew nuts, or if you want you can add pine nuts or walnuts or soaked and peeled badam, that is almonds. So walnuts, sometimes you can skip walnuts because walnuts tend to release a lot of oil. Okay, so we do not want a greasy pesto sauce. So the basil leaves, as I said, are soaked and chopped cashew seeds, cashew nuts, and then we have this so a few garlic pods. Okay, a pinch of salt. Now, do not add too much salt because our dough has salt and the sauce is having salt, and then we are going to add the cheese. The cheese is going to add again too much of salt. So control adding salt to your pesto sauce. Now I'm just going to make a fine paste. Yeah, and then for the spice. So usually these breads are not very spicy. So we are just going to use freshly crushed pepper. So freshly crushed pepper, I'm just going to add the spices as per your interest. If you want to add, you can add some green chilies like how we do in our Indian kitchen cooking. Okay, so we have the pesto sauce. I'm just going to make a fine paste. You can have fine paste or you can just go for a coarse paste of it. Yeah. If it is too dry, I'm just going to add 1 drop of water, okay, and then give it a stir. Give it a stir. It smells so good. It smells so good. Fresh basil leaves and garlic and pepper. Yeah. Just going to give a. Yes, guys, look at the beautiful green color. Yeah. So for this, the basil leaves have to be fresh. And the entire room is filled with aromatic smell of basil leaves. It is so good. It is so good. Yeah. So as I said, you can use these basil leaves for as a dip for or your salsa or pasta. Yes. I'm going to use this sauce for filling. Yes guys, see my pesto dough, okay, has been sitting in near the oven or the warm place for almost around 30 minutes by now. So it is nicely fermented. So this we call as first fermentation, okay. So I'm just going to transfer this dough, okay, to the platform. I'm just going to dust some flour. We are just going to gently roll it, okay. So this is a fermented dough. Do not roll it very hard, okay. If you roll it very hard, whatever the fermentation process will go for a waste. So gently lift the dough and then neatly roll it, okay. So roll it in the form of a small and thin rectangle. So now, yes, so I have rolled this into a thin and small rectangle, and once it is done, I have this pesto sauce with me. I'm just going to spread this pesto sauce evenly. My grated cheese, yeah, spread it evenly, okay, so that you don't have any area where there is only dough and there are no any spice or flavor, okay. Spread it nicely. I'm just going to nicely roll this, okay. And then I'm going to seal this with a little water or milk. I'm just going to roll it nicely. Now once this is done, okay, so I'm just going to cut this. I'm going to cut this entire loaf. Yeah. I'm taking a sharp bread knife. I'm going to take a sharp bread knife and then I'm just going to cut this into rectangular. If you feel the dough is very soft, you can just pop this entire roll in the fridge and then you can cut it. Yeah. Cut it entire lengthwise, okay. So I'm just going to, yeah, separate. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of milk or water, join these two, and this will be beautifully braided. Yeah. Don't worry about the mess around the mat, okay. It's all okay. Now we are going to nicely roll this. So you can see the alternate beautiful layer of sauce, dough, sauce, dough, sauce, dough. Now I have a clean and nicely greased pan here. This is a 7-inch pan. I'm just going to twist this dough, join both the open ends, okay, and then I'm just going to lift this. I'm going to place it in a nicely greased pan. Okay, this is a 7-inch pan and this batch of the dough goes it, and you have to see to it that you leave a gap, okay, the gap, because this is going to again ferment for the second time, and once it ferments, the entire tray will get filled with the dough, and that is when it is going for the baking. Yeah, okay, so this is going for the second fermentation, guys. Yes, have a look at it. Yes. Look at this, guys. So this is our pesto, which is sitting for almost half an hour for the second fermentation. So you see it has been nicely filled, okay, it has nicely filled the pan. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do egg wash. So in bread baking we have a workflow, okay, from kneading to window pane stage to first fermentation, second fermentation, and then we allow the shaping and all those things, and then finally before putting into the oven we do what is called as egg wash or milk wash. As I said, today we have not used egg for this product, so I'm just going to spread some milk, okay. So easy way, do not use a brush. This is an important tip. Do not use a brush when we are spreading this egg or milk. So I'm just taking some tissue paper, dipping my tissue paper in milk, just a cold milk, whichever you have at home, and gently brush on the surface. Yeah, just gently brush on the surface. Look at the texture, so beautiful and pillowy, and this is going to bake nicely in the oven. Yeah, and the temperature is again I mentioned in the recipe, so it is going to bake at preheated oven to 180 degrees Celsius and for almost 20 to 25 minutes. Now I am going to do the egg wash or the milk wash in this case. And once the milk wash is done, I am going to sprinkle some poppy seeds, or you can also have some sesame seeds. Yeah. Now my oven is preheating at 180 degrees Celsius. So my bread is ready. It's nicely fermented and soft. So it's egg washed and this is going to bake. So this is nicely egg washed or milk washed, and this is going into my preheated oven at around 180 for 20 to 25 minutes until you get a nice color. Now talking about the color, so what is this color that we are talking on the bread? Now usually we do what is said egg wash. If you're using egg wash, you get a nice brown color. If you're using only yolk, okay, you get the deep maroon color. And if you're using milk, you get the golden color. So the color depends on what kind of egg wash or the milk wash that you're doing. And today I have not used egg in our batter, and I've just used the milk wash. This is going to give a nice brown color, and this is going for baking. Yeah. So I will wait for the bread to bake. So it will almost take some 20 to 25 minutes. Then I'll just show you the final products. Yes? Right. Yes, guys, our bread is done. It's nice and piping hot. Yeah, look at it. Look at the texture. Now, when it is hot, I'm just going to brush it with some melted butter. Yeah, when it is hot, I'm just going to brush it with some melted butter. You can see the beautiful green and brown with a nice topping of sesame seeds and poppy seeds. Yeah. Yes, our pesto is done. So it's very soft and it's very hot, and you can see the beautiful layer. Yeah, the beautiful layer of the coated, or you can say milk washed, with you can see green pesto sauce peeping in between. And I'm going to allow it to cool down. Then I'm just going to take it out of my pan and I'm going to allow it to cool. So this is a wonderful bread to be had with either black coffee or black tea, or just you can snack it like that with a spread of nice butter. Yeah. So our pesto is done. So you can enjoy with your family on a rainy day. You can have with a hot tea or hot coffee. Yes.